Hello, good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Truth Behind the Truth. I guess some of you guys have said, I saw that little clip before.
Yeah.
You know, I just love that little clip from Stormy Weather. It just, you know, we have been discussing Black excellence, you know, throughout our Black History Month, or as I'm calling it, American History. American history celebrating Black excellence, which I think that's a better term.
That's a better term.
You know,
that's a great term, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it makes it feel better. You know what I mean? You know, saying it that way. But yeah, so it has. I saw that probably maybe about 2 months ago, and I put it out, and the response was just like, I didn't really realize that we had that much going on in the community. You know.
What you mean?
I mean, in terms of like, in that time, because you know, if you're not an advocate follower of Hollywood, you know, or musicals or things like that, you probably wouldn't necessarily know about it or see it. You know, I think you and I were fortunate that I know probably more so your grandmother brought you to the knowledge of the musical era, because I know Mom didn't like musicals, so. But my mom and I, we used to sit down. There was this guy used to come on called Bill Kennedy at the movies.
Oh, okay.
And he was.
Was he part of the late night show?
No. This was like, I think, Saturday afternoons or something. It came on, but his studio was located in Windsor, so it was broadcast in the Detroit area from Canada. So he played all of the vintage movies and things like that, and that gave me an opportunity to learn a lot about them. You know, and sitting with Mom and everything, like that. So that introduced me to Judy Garland and Fred Astaire, and and everybody we could sit here and name that made up this great industry that we're a part of, at this point out here in Hollyland.
Well, you know what? It's so funny that Lena Horne's granddaughter, she was interviewed for I think this movie in particular.
Right.
She was interviewed at I think a film fest, or I think it was mostly well, it might have been an old film fest, but other than that, though, she was there, and they were talking about the fact that the making of this film was during World War II.
Okay.
But the fact is that they were doing this to boost the morale of Americans, and in particular African Americans, to feel like they were part of the country at large. But the fact is that she also mentioned in the interview that the fact that these people who participated in the film, you have to think about the fact that did they believe that this film would be showed to to whomever would see it? Because if you think about it, at this time period, there was not a big audience for all Black films or all Black mainstream musicals. And the fact that these Black artists who took advantage of a great opportunity to be in front of a camera at some of the biggest studios of that time period, they did not know if those films would be showed anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the thing. You have to think about stuff like that too, because if they were to not have participated and thought that, well, what's the point of us being here doing this when we know that all over this country, most whites would not want to see us doing stuff like this, and who would want to see us doing stuff like this? So what is the point of us being here actually doing the work? Well, and that in itself was, you would think about that and say, but now that they did, we know now that they did it, and look that at this point, the film has been preserved for future generations like me, who did not know that these people or these things even existed.
Right.
You got your introduction to that program from Canada that showed through Detroit during the day. I got my exposure through the fact of me wanting to know. Now, you talked about The Wizard of Oz. I got my first exposure to Technicolor musicals through The Wizard of Oz, through My Fair Lady, through Sound of Music. But then there were stories about people that I really were interested in learning, like Lena Horne, people like Cab Calloway, people like Bill Bojangles, people who were very Stephen Fetching and all those people who were very powerful during the Black era of entertainment of that time period. Right. And to see them in action, to see what made them so popular, what made them so famous, it is inspiring for people for me. I don't know about my other for people of my other that is above my let's just say this my generation. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's bring of my generation. I don't think they people of my generation know how important these people were to a community of people. And we talked about this on the show this past Saturday about people carrying the weight of a whole race on their shoulders. Yes. They were carrying a whole race of people on their shoulders because they were having to toe the line because they were the representation of a community of people who at the time period were only 3/4 of a human being. We weren't even full-fledged citizens. Right. I mean, it just at this point we were trying to gain some ground and gain some a place even during that time period. So like I said, it's very inspiring to watch that and know that those people went through hell and high water on a film lot that wouldn't even serve them in the commissary or else touch their hair because you had a union of hairdressers who were predominantly white who wouldn't even touch their faces nor their hair. So it's very, that they could dredge up the inspiration and the love of the art to do something like that and the times of oppression. Right. So yes, I tip my hat to those people. Absolutely. I really do. Absolutely. I really do.
You know, it could be and I guess why I love it so much. It could be that the spirit that they operated in when they were on set that particular day, doing that particular number, because one thing we always talk about on the show is that we're all spiritual beings, no matter how you look at your level of worship, if you want to call it that, or whatever the case may be. And I think that what transcends to, the audience that came through the cameras and all that is like they, even in the middle of the oppression that you said that they of course, that they were going through, they found a way to say that we're going to show the joy of this dance or this number that we're doing in the midst of the difficult moments, and like you said, the things that they probably went on, behind the scenes with them and and what have you. And then I think Cab Calloway just does it justice with him dancing and swinging his hair. It was just such a, I think, a great moment. But then that's why again I celebrate that moment. And as we are coming to a not a close, but a transition. From the American history celebrating Black excellence, time frame, as it's been set apart. But it is going to be every day. I think that what we'll do, moving forward, a lot of things are different. Maybe every other show or something will bring some more things to your attention about Black excellence, especially in the realm of Hollywood, the realm of Hollywood, as you want to put it that way, or film and
politics too. Politics.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Theater, politics,
sports,
because it all goes hand in hand. It's always a web, and that's and everything. So it all comes back to the base. But I also wanted to add this to Diahann Carroll. God bless her.
Oh my gosh.
What an inspiration, along with Eartha Kitt and all those people who came also along with her. But the fact that at that very same studio that they did that scene was Fox Studio. They did Carmen Jones with Dorothy Dandridge and Harry Belafonte. But the fact is, even when they were doing that film, the oppression that she describes in her autobiography about the fact of having to come on and try to dredge up this the talent when you were told that you couldn't even sit in places within the lot. They had to go straight to the set and come off the set and go straight out the gate. Wow. It's just the fact that it's that right there, you have to, like you say, you have to tip your hat to those people, and because those are the shoulders that we stand on.
True. It's amazing. And you brought up Diahann Carroll. I mean, now her success, most I must say, a lot of people don't realize that Diahann Carroll's success in this industry was phenomenal.
Yes, it was.
I mean, she was phenomenal. She was the first woman of color to have her own major TV show. Okay, and I mean, and I love Julia. If you didn't know, it's Julia. Okay, I mean, I love Julia going up. What's the Corey Baker? Corey was the son, and then what the other guy name was the little Caucasian boy was Earl J. Wagadorn, whatever. But a really, 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 and it lasted for 5 years.
Wow. Mario Cantone said the comedian Mario Cantone said he wanted, out of everything that was going on in the 60s,
right,
he wanted a lunchbox that had Julia on it.
Wow.
I thought
they did have a Julia lunchbox. Wow. But again, celebrating excellence, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, and then moving fast forward a little bit, then what we're going to transition into motivating us in America in the fight, which is our topic tonight. You could say that you rolled into the Motown era, which you talked about that a little bit last week, and the examples. But let's not kind of jump into Motown just yet. What about the ones that were in the 50s and then moving into the 60s? The Sarah Vaughns and the Platters and the Shirelles and Dinah Washington. Billie Holiday kind of transitioned just before the 50s started, got really going.
She did all. She transitioned in 58.
58, right?
But
okay.
You had people like Ella Fitzgerald, Nat King Cole. You talked about Diane Carroll was her television show, but it took Nat King Cole. He had a television show that couldn't garner sponsors, because of his being African American. He couldn't garner sponsors. But not only he had a television show, but you had Hattie McDaniels, who had a show as well.
Wow.
She had a television show. Wow. I think it was called Bessie or something like that. Okay. If you know of that show, correct us in the comments. Also, Hazel Scott had her own musical variety show at one point. So there were pioneers that were even Amos and Andy. So you think about all of those people who set the groundwork, because, like I said, it was hard.
Right.
It was absolutely hard for these people. And we talk about Nat King Cole. Nat King Cole was a very important step for at least an African American man on television. But it just so happened he just couldn't get the sponsors to get behind him. And that right there was it kind of made things a little wonky with NBC, because he was with NBC at one point in time, which we already know that, with Joy Reid. She make a connection. Joy Reid, MSNBC, but even with the situation that is totally different, but it's still, that is still going on. And you know what? It's so funny. Rachel Maddow last night you know what? I took my hat to Rachel Maddow. We all know of the unfortunate situation with Joy Reid and her show being canceled, but to have Rachel take out the time to explain the situation that was going on at NBC behind the scenes, and how troubled she felt that most of her comrades or her her peers of color, their shows or their platforms were being sapped up, are being canceled because of this new regime that's going on right now. And to be honest with you, you have to take into consideration that we need allies in our fight.
Right, absolutely.
And we need allies in everybody's fight. Because everybody cannot do this by themselves.
Right.
What's the title of this show again?
Fighting for your life in America. Okay.
And there have been many people who've been fighting for their lives.
Fighting for your life in
this
America.
country,
we were thinking about it at an appropriate, motivational point, tonight, which we always like to do, at least something good with you guys. We are in the fight of our life in America. I want to dive in that. We just want to do a quick couple reminders about a few things for you guys real fast. So from tonight forward, we will be live on Tuesday evenings at the same regular time we were on Saturdays. Yeah. Saturdays, if it's a better time, you will get to see the rebroadcast on Saturday at 6 p.m., the normal time that it has been. But we'll be live on Tuesday nights for a little bit of a time. Right now, the other part that's paying the bills until y'all start helping us,
please,
is show bills, exactly. But is having to make some adjustments for those particular reasons on the Saturday nights. So, but we will hear Tuesday nights, for you as well. So spread the word, like, and share, like, and share. Okay, all the time with us to get us out, to get these algorithms going. As you guys know, that we really need those, at the end of the day.
Yes.
But so I want to remind you that so if you're looking for us on Saturday, we will be here on Tuesdays live. All right, and then it'll be the rebroadcast on Saturday nights for those that aren't able to make it on Tuesday nights. We will have it, have it available for you in that aspect of it. So we're glad to see all of you tuned in tonight. Yeah, yes, thank you.
Benjamin Bullock.
Yes.
Terry Can.
Yes.
James Bailey.
Yes.
Robert Yada. Oh, y'all, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in. And this is very rare, like you said, that we do this because we usually would do this on a Saturday.
Right, exactly.
But us, taking out the time to start it now.
Right, exactly.
This is just a treat. So thank you for just coming on in and
being a part of where we're going tonight.
Yes.
So digging into what tonight's topic, I think some of the other cast members, again, here in LA, things just go fast, and Atlanta, so they may join us in a little bit trying to get on here as well. Yes. But we will keep going. We'll keep moving. So, we've talked about navigating your life in America. We've talked about defying gravity, in your life. And that, defying gravity, it just never changes. Okay. You're going to be doing that from the longest period of time. Any social circle, any religious circle, political circle, or whatever. If you are a person that I'm going to use the term, has a call to be an example, a leader, or whatever, you're going to have to defy gravity. You know what I mean? You're going to have to start shedding all of the things that are a part of that have been attached to you to keep you being held down. And that is the purpose of that. When you find out where you are, like, hey, we've been talking about Elphaba, the character of Wicked for a long time, and what the example of what the character has done, to humanity at this point. There are people all over the world, guys, that have really gravitated to that understanding. Okay. Now, those of y'all been hang up in witchery. I mean, that ain't what we talking about, witchery. All right. We talk, because y'all know who y'all go, oh my gosh, she's a witch. She's dealing in the dark side. No. Okay. Really? All right. Really? Anyway, there's more to a story than just the story. You think that's a part of the story. So dig in. If you hadn't seen Wicked, rent it. Okay. It's phenomenal. Anyway, that's not tonight's show. But anyway, so in this age of what do we call it? Elania, Muscatel, Rump Dump Trump, and
Roberta Flack.
And then we're gonna get some.
In all of this, we need a Roberta Flack.
Right. True. We'll
celebrate her. Talk about that later, but we do need her.
Yeah, we really do.
We need an energy like that.
True. But anyway, so as you guys have been noticing, and this, if never at one time you really need to be watching the news, you need to be watching it right now. Please do. I mean, we
stay woke.
Please don't go to sleep. It ain't time to go to sleep. Now, matter of fact, it's time. We told you a couple of weeks ago, even Saturday, y'all need to be putting some money aside. I'm just saying, if you don't have a passport, get your passport, please. Okay.
Talk about the grocery prices that you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Talk about that.
Oh my gosh. So this person, that orange person that ran on, and most of the people out there voted for because they thought he was gonna bring prices down. Since he got in the White House and used that pen the first time, everything went up. Everything has been on the up climb. Okay. I was at the grocery store today. We were making some chili tonight. And when I tell you that from down to the kidney beans, all right, to the milk, okay, everything was at mostly probably $1 more than what it was supposed to be.
Wow.
And that was already on sale.
Wow.
And I was like, are you kidding me? We don't talk about the price of eggs because he swore eggs was going to come down as soon as he got in office. Okay, they went up since he got in office and even gotten higher since he's been in office. So, I don't know, I mean, really, I know a lot of you guys are maybe friends or and a part of the community of people that. Good evening, Charles.
Hey, Charles, how you doing?
That lose us? I'm sorry. Oh, y'all, we're still here. What'd I do? What did I do to y'all? What happened? We still here. Where'd the camera go? What did I do to y'all? That's my okay. What did I do? Okay. Oh, there I go. Okay. I knew something. We still here, y'all. Yeah. There's a little technical difficulty. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Trying to bring Charles in.
We became the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
We became the man behind the curtain. But hey, Charles, how you doing?
I'm tired.
Well, I understand. Aren't we all tired up and through here?
So if you didn't catch the part I saw when you were coming in, we're talking about us fighting the fight in America right now, fighting for your life, right now in America, and it is a constant fight.
James. You see us. Okay, let's go on to it. Let's go on with it.
But anyway, so let's talk about those 3 categories. Okay, I started out with the food, Charles. I don't know if you catch when you're coming in.
Talk about the gas.
Well, that too.
The gas is. Let me tell you something. I went and got gas No, it was the other morning. I was before I went to work, and I swear I did a quick turn towards my car, which I knew it was at 5 at that point. I did another turn, and it was at 20. Now, this is the clear example of how I did it. I turned like this, which was I knew it was 5. Turn around, it was 20.
Okay,
I said.
And you got 2 gallons.
that didn't move, but only an inch. Yeah. I said, my God. Yeah. I said, okay, this is.
I have to say this, okay? And I'm not Charles make this point about that. I have to say this. One thing about living in California, okay?
Yeah. Well,
my mind has already gotten around gas prices, okay? Because even when it was low, it was still high here. Okay. Basically. So you just pull to the pump, here in LA, and just say, okay. I mean, that's all you gotta do. But it did go up another $1.50 since the pen started swiping on all the executive orders. So it did go up another $1.50 in California. I mean, so now that the new car that we got, we have to deal with premium now. So that's another level of gasoline. But I went there today, and I made a vow. Okay, and I'm gonna say this to everybody. I made a vow to myself and to us that I'm not going to allow the gas to get below a half a tank. Okay. All right. So I learned that from a man that I used to assist when I was doing healthcare long time ago. He had this discipline, okay, that he would never allow his cars to get below a half a tank. And then to him, that was on empty. And I was like, wow. But he was a very disciplined, older gentleman, and whatever. And he said, he just told me, he said, you should never let your car get any lower than a half a tank. If it's on a half a tank, you need to fill it up. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna keep that as a mindset now. And start doing it because he said that way you'll never run out of gas. I was like, okay, okay, I got you. But anyway, Charles, go ahead.
I don't have much. I'm so tired. I can't even see straight.
Oh no. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, shoot. Let me just say this though. On that note, it's so funny. People are. And I'm not trying to say this on what you got going on, Charles, but a lot of people are a little worn out by what's going on right now. It's too much stuff going on right now. James said, check your oil every time you gas up. Also, we're gonna. That's another one. We need to check our oil. Thanks, James. But everybody's getting tired and frustrated, disillusioned, bewildered, and bothered, and it's showing clear. On my job, I went into I'm a vendor, and I'm not going to name who I work for, but I'm a vendor at certain stores. I went into a store not too long ago, and probably yesterday, and the guy who receives our merchandise, he asked me. He said, "Have y'all been noticing there's a slow tick within the stores?" I said, "Wow." I said, "I don't pay too much attention, but I can also tell by our items when they're not selling." And I said, yeah, I know since the Super Bowl, things have been kind of slowing down. He said, not only here, but everywhere else. I said, you know what? There is a situation that's happening right now clear across the nation where people are withholding their funds. Yeah. And they are letting these people know that, we're not going to support you because you don't support certain things that we hold dearly, like diversity. And I told him, I'm like, you need to look out because come the 28th, because we talked about this on the show, come the 28th of this month, there will be a boycott. And on other multiple days, there will be other boycotts.
Oh, you know what? We were supposed to share that.
Oh, we were supposed to put that up on the show. We will have that up probably later on, probably on the next show. But yes, people are worried, and people are losing their jobs. Right. And not only federal workers, you have to think about teachers too. With these executive orders, things are now going up in smokes. loan forgivenesses,
right.
certain Medicaids, and all this stuff that we hold so dearly.
Right.
Are going up in smoke, and people are trying to figure out why.
Right. Well, well, we know why.
We know why.
We know why. I mean,
we wish you would have known why before you went and did what you did. But hey, you keep it going.
Well, and to in alignment to what you're saying, one of the things I am glad to see is that there is becoming a lot of pushback from Americans.
Oh yeah.
In terms of what has been going on in these town hall meetings are really getting somewhere. Now, I don't know if it's going to be to the point they are able to change a whole lot, in it. But, my thing is that America needs to do a march on Washington. Americans need to do a march on, not separate groups, not a black, group, not a Hispanic group, not a woman group, but Americans. We the people, like we talked about last week, we the people need to make that assessment and make a march on Washington. I'm serious, Now, I don't know how much it's going to do, because at the end of the day, you don't even have the right people that are going to pay attention to you. It's and I don't want to sound pessimistic about that situation, but where do we really have the strength and unity to make a change as it stands right now? Because it's everything is being baited for this man to become king of the U.S. I mean, it is, it's a conversation that is worth discussing, But where do we stand in the fight of our lives? And that's the question that I asked you, that the show is about tonight. Where is our ammunition going to come from?
Money.
Okay. Well,
economics.
Okay.
It has to come from money, because let me give you this one little tidbit. If it wasn't for the bus boycott in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955,
Black Excellence moment.
Yes, yes. That right there really proved that economics, when you cut off certain things like riding the buses, which they knew African Americans needed to do just to get to and from work to school, whatever. They knew what in most cases, blacks were riding the buses in Montgomery. There were not a whole lot of white people riding the buses as much, because white folks could afford cars and they could afford certain things that blacks it was a systematic situation in the South. But the fact is that the southern states and Alabama knew that in order for the public transportation to keep going, it took black dollars. Well, black folks was like, wait a minute. If it's so easy for you to refuse a seat, if it's so easy for you to kick us off buses and refuse seats because of this white man, no, we're going to start bus boycotting and refusing our funds. And that means there's going to be an economic downturn. It takes sometimes you withholding funds for things to happen.
Yeah, it's true.
What we're now figuring out that we do have an oligarchy class right now that is running things and they think, they probably think because through Elon Musk, they are going to start running things, because you see how they're now trying to go through government programs and snatch them all up, because the wealthy know that with federal government programs, they don't like federal anything. Wealthy people do not like it. So it's going to take the average American to say, you know what? Okay, then fine. Y'all think y'all running things? Let me show you through my hard-earned dollars that I can run some shit.
Okay.
And it's going to take Americans to sit back and say, you know what? We don't need to do this. We don't need to go there. We don't need to eat this. We don't need to drink this. We don't need to be entertained by this, because what I'm feeling left out in the process of being within a democracy right now. And I feel like somebody's taking my rights away. So I need to start taking my money away.
Well,
so it will take Americans, the working class American. I ain't worried about the wealthy American. I ain't worried about some of the upper middle class Americans. I'm talking about public sector working class people who have to get up every day and deal with abuses, who have to deal with harsh minimum wages, no health care, some of them, a lot of them. In order to get health care, you got to work a job to get health care in most situations. You have to think about, my hard-earned money is being utilized to keep this economy going. So what can make this economy stop?
But you can't even partake of the community of the economy that you're helping anymore. You know what I mean? And so this is the point. These are just like tidbits here.
Yeah, little tidbits
of things. But
you got local businesses you can support.
Well, yeah, this is true.
That you can support. You don't need to support the corporations, but you can support your local businesses.
Right.
Like, a good old mom and pop grocery store down the street, exactly. Or a nice little drugstore that has been open for many, many, many years that you bypass all up and down. You can support that. But those corporations, that Walmart, Target, those you can and need to boycott, because those people be doing backdoor deals with most of your politicians.
Right, this is true.
They do. They do a lot of backdoor deals.
This is which is so true. You can be up, James commented this thing. But and my thing is, like I said, we are all in the fight of our life. I mean, this is the time that we need to put on our Muhammad Ali and our George Foreman and and all of these other type of mentalities to be so determined, to be successful in what we have. But as I said at the top of the show, you got to have an exit strategy in the works. Okay, you got to have a certain sort of plan of self-employment. Self-employment, not employment of somebody else, but self-employment in the works. Find some network marketing, opportunities to get involved in with, which, that's something going to be coming to that we'll introduce to you in the next few weeks or so. But find different ways to be able to create your own wealth, your own streams of income. Okay, because this stuff is going to shift, baby. I'm telling you, like we told you this when this man was coming in office, things were going to be changing. At the end of the day. Go ahead, Charles. I know you had a point real quick in there. We got one comment when I bring.
You got two comments.
2 minutes. Okay, go ahead, Charles.
I'm still trying to get my brain to function.
Okay.
I think that with the firing of the black folks on MSNBC and the pushback on pretty much anybody black being in office. And these black folks that are showing up at the White House saying they Trump people and they believe in making America great again. We're basically facing I think not only a civic downslide, but a super social and economic downslide.
Right.
Because there's no way in the world you can actually think that we can live on this planet together, but separate. It just doesn't work that way. No matter where you go.
It does not work.
So many people are trying to get their visas and so forth to leave the country. But I like to tell them, you're not going to run. You can run, but you can't hide. Just because you go to another country don't mean they won't come there, because that's what they're basically doing. Putin and the rest of them are looking at world domination. They're not looking just to go here and there. And then the fact that we gangstered Zelensky out of his mineral rights today. I heard he made a deal with the USA for his mineral rights. Just shows that, man, we've lost our way. And even over in Germany and Europe, the EU is talking about disconnecting from us. They don't. I don't blame them. I don't trust.
I don't blame them
anything that's going on. Yeah, it's just crazy how this is going.
And true what you say. I will, and I have to keep bringing this up because I would love to hear you guys' comments about this. And the thing is, my question. Hang on one second. My question is how, as Americans, did we allow ourselves to get to this point? Now, there's different layers to that, what I just mentioned, okay? Please put it in the comments if you got something to definitely share about how did we do this?
We got settled.
Okay? And there's a question I'm going to put up that we put up on several shows, but go ahead with James's comment.
So James said everything that Musk and Trump are doing does not affect him directly financially. Michelle Obama said that if you didn't make a six-figure salary, Trump is not going to care anything about you if he gets elected. So we said this in some previous shows too, absolutely. Because I kept saying, to those people who believe that Trump is going to give them whatever they want, I said, and we said this a lot of times, if you didn't put anything behind these campaigns, and Trump is not going to give you those average Americans unless you gave him millions of dollars. Yes. We're talking about organizations like the Moms for Liberty.
Yes.
We're talking about organizations like the Evangelical Right.
Yeah.
We're talking about organizations like the Proud Boys, the Sheriffs of America. We're talking about organizations like Steve Bannon and all of his ultra patriotic, right wing agendas like CPACs and all this stuff. These people put millions of dollars behind Trump.
Right.
Trump is going to follow their lead. So yeah, Michelle Obama was right. If you didn't make a 6-figure salary, yes, she might have been talking about the wealthy, but those who supported Trump, like Bezos and Musk, he's going to give them what they want. So the average American is left out of the equation. So Judah Allen said, "This government is not for we the people, guys." So it would never work.
Right. That's true.
It will never work.
It's true
because the people have they have thrown away their civic duty to stop what we kept saying. I always said this, and we always said this, that term limits.
Right. Should have been in place.
Term limits should have been in place. We as Americans have allowed certain people and allowed good old boy systems to keep going and going and going because they support agendas that we support. Agendas voting does not work for we the people. When you cannot pay your rent, if you cannot even afford gas, why me voting for the fact that you don't like an abortion, you don't like gay marriage? How is that going to help me pay my damn bills?
Well, see, and here I'm unpacking another part on the Charles Gladwell's part. So the civic responsibility or the civics that I can say that we learn and you learn in school and Charles learned in the school, even another, let's not take, because we know it's not in school anymore.
No,
okay, we know that it's not in school anymore, which is but the we of the people that learned the civics and learned the process of how government should work. You know what I'm saying? Where did we and why did we drop the ball? You don't have to be running for a political office in order to have a small group conversation in your neighborhood, with a couple of friends. You go out for beers, margaritas, or whatever the case may be that you do, or even in your Christian or church community. Why is it that, you go on to Wednesday night Bible study? Okay, let's just use that as an example. Wednesday night Bible study. We learned everything about the scriptures, but we ain't learning how to live here. Okay, it's like
the functionings of our government.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get away and not understanding, but we want to know the functions of trying to put somebody in hell. But I'm just saying.
But it is.
I'm just saying. I know I'm offending y'all. Those that believe that, I purposely want to offend you. All right, but it's the truth. It is the truth behind the truth. We have misguided ourselves for all of these different platforms. And have adopted these ways of thinking at the same time, while America is just going like this, down, 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 down. And then you are allowing people to come right behind you, slap you upside your head, say, "Oh, I didn't realize that this was going on. I done prayed about it." Okay, well, obviously.
But that is why they're taking money out of the Department of Education.
Yeah, well,
you have to remember, in certain states, critical thinking skills, that is not taught in certain states.
Right.
Because I hate to say this, where the Bible Belt is, there is no such thing as critical thinking classes.
No,
you have to go to a junior college, if you can, to learn about Black history studies and critical thinking skills.
Right.
And I hate to say this, people who say, "Well, I'm critically thinking." I sometimes wonder, what is critical thinking to you? Unless you're listening to somebody else who's telling you what you want to believe.
Right.
Because sometimes you have to go against the grain and ask questions. Like, I know a lot of your comments are really good. I'm listening, I'm watching, but still though, you might be saying something that I will agree with. But to critically think about what you're telling me, I have to sometimes go against the grain and say, let me do research.
Absolutely.
Before I come to the conclusion of saying they are correct.
Absolutely.
Every time somebody in public tells me something about anything about the Bible or anything about politics, anything about the movie or movies or music, I say, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but I haven't really I digest the information, but let me go do my own research and come to the conclusion of what you are telling me, because I want to see and hear it for myself. I have to become Doubting Thomas. Right. I want to reach into the wounds and feel it for my damn self.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we all, in certain times, when people are telling us crap, like we're hearing on the news with certain people that we desperately want to believe is telling us the truth, we sometimes have to say to ourselves, let me go against the grain and do my own research. And that's where the American people have faltered. We want to believe when our leaders are telling us the truth. Well, and in most situations, they're not telling us the truth.
I'm being the spider coming in the room.
Okay,
right,
let the spider come.
Come spider, because see, there have been 8 tentacles, that have been on this platform for a long time. Okay, and have shared so much that we have to keep going back to this, guys, because everything that you are experiencing and throughout your life, prices, elections, wrong people, wrong judgment, and all these things, the truth behind the truth has been a leader, okay, in information. Now, if you didn't watch, hey, you got opportunity to go back, but we have been a leader in trying to prepare you for this. But Charles, go ahead with your point.
Go ahead, Charles.
Well, I don't really have a point, because I think that everything boils down to this.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
White supremacy, white nationalism, Christian right wing, everything's leaning that way. It's just the separation. There was and I can't remember where that is. Maybe I can find it for another show. There's a guy who's part of the Trump re-election campaign, and he said the reason he votes for Trump is because white people have nowhere to go. This is their country, which it isn't. They stole it from some other people, but this is their country, and in order to prevail, they need a place of their own to grow. And that in itself says everything.
Well, and true, but even in that moment where you just shared about that, my question again is, what are we watching? How are we in this fight? Because right now we getting our ass, not us, but y'all getting your ass beat.
You can't win when you don't have the legal system on your side. They've taken over the courts. I've said this almost 10 years ago. Once the courts are gone, you have no rights. Then Biden wouldn't put in other people to balance the court. He wanted just like normal Democrats. They always want to be fair. They want to try to play on an even playing field. When nobody else cares, the right don't care. They'll do what they're doing, and then every time they do all this devilish like they did with Trump the first term, then Biden comes and says, "Okay, let's work together." And then when Biden's gone, it's like we don't care no more. And they're how can you say it? They're scrupulous, and they're amoral, and they're selfish and self-destructive, because the people that they're hurting are their people too. That's why so many people are marching and saying, like they say, if the white people don't want to fight, then it's not a fight. But you see them pissed now because they're losing all that stuff. That Trump is eating them up, because they used to think that black people were the face of food stamps. No, we're not. The majority of food stamp participants are white. And then the crazy part about it is, when you look at Medicare, most of them are baby boomers, and those are seniors that are a large proportion are Caucasian. So you can't try to swipe through here and then knock out the black people and pick and choose black folks out. It's like picking raisins out of the damn potato salad. It's so much stuff you can't get to it.
That was a myth.
You're making a mess.
I thought that was a myth. I didn't know that
raisins out of the potato salad. I know that's right.
But it goes back to Merrick Garland. You talk about the Democrats not doing that. I go back to Merrick Garland not doing what he was supposed to do as an attorney general. He faltered the whole entire situation. And you know what? I'm going to read some of your comments too. Greg Bullock said, "That's why we all must study to show ourselves approved." Right. That's correct. And now this is going to be something else. I love this. Judah Allen, did you guys know that Nazis have been running our government since the 30s? Obama is Hitler's Oh, well, we all knew that. Obama is Hitler's grandson. I can go as far as the Nazis running. You can also say that the guy who started Henry Ford, gave the Nazis, those over in Germany, he funded the Luftwaffe. Charles Lindbergh was such a big fan of Hitler that he decided to go to Germany himself and look at the airplanes, and almost decided to move to Germany.
This is good.
But because of Kristallnacht of 1938, Kristallnacht, which was a German pogrom, a Jewish pogrom, I'm so sorry, that was conducted by Joseph Goebbels. There was a situation where in 1938 there was violence in the street, and Charles Lindbergh realized that these people are out of their minds. But that never stopped him hating Jews himself. He came back to the U.S. and fought Roosevelt tooth and nail for allowing Jews to come over to this country because there was a quota system. That's one thing people tend to forget, that this immigration system, we had a quota system. And they want to go back to the quota system. That will, like you say, Charles, will keep white supremacy in full control. The quota system. And they will probably go back to it because they have people who say that, we need more Europeans in this country. We need
Trump has already said that.
But that's why you got rid of the DIA. I mean, it makes sense to get rid of the DIA. I mean, at this point, because when you're going in the direction that Charles just had said, it makes more perfect. Now you can't have anybody combating the white system that's trying to put itself in place. Even though, like Judah said, it's been here all along. Well, anybody that's awoke knew that. And thank you for sharing that point. But go ahead.
But the fact is that Trump was going to give asylum to white South Africans
because they're being mistreated.
Oh my God.
He was going to give them an asylum.
He still is.
Very telling. It's very telling to those black people who want to say, well, Trump is not a racist. Now, if he was not a racist, why did he not do that for the Haitians? Why is he sending more Haitians back to Haiti? And now you want to send South Africans because there are black people and South Africans that want their land back. See, that right there is, I always tell people, if you're not seeing the forest for the trees, you're just going to get lost in the sauce. And one thing I also want to add to as well, always remember, right-wing governments, right-wing radicals love autocratic, totalitarian governments. They do. Right-wing, conservative, evangelicals, whatever you love that is a radical of anything that's right-wing, they love this stuff. They love patriotism because it keeps a one world view going. Hitler was right-wing to his core. And I hate to say it now, the Democrats are no better. I ain't gonna lie. This two-party system was the failure of our country because
I'm going to blow your socks off. Hot news just came in. Oh boy, let me
come on with it, brother.
The president making news on another front, announcing a new version of the green card, saying the U.S. will sell gold cards for $5 million to wealthy foreigners who want to live here. He says the immigration program, which he says he may call the Trump gold card, will be a, quote, very strong path to citizenship. And while he hasn't yet released the details, he says the program will likely start in roughly 2 weeks, and he estimates the U.S. could sell more than 1 million of these gold cards. David.
Mary Bruce live at the White House.
Get the fuck out of here. Did y'all just hear that? No, not what I just said.
Could you replay that again?
Josh, can you
replay that one more time?
Please do. Please pay attention, guys.
And tonight, the president making news on another front, announcing a new version of the green card, saying the U.S. will sell gold cards for $5 million to wealthy foreigners who want to live here. He says the immigration program, which he says he may call the Trump gold card, will be a, quote, very strong path to citizenship. And while he hasn't yet released the details, he says the program will likely start in roughly 2 weeks, and he estimates the U.S. could sell more than 1 million of these gold cards. David.
Mary Bruce live at the White House.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be expected because he is a businessman, right? To be typical.
But just the whole gamut of this complete. Where have we been, people? Where have we been? What have we been doing?
I'm gonna put a stamp on this. Even though I dispute that thing about Obama being Hitler's grandson, that's a lot of poppycock. But prove it to me because I haven't read that. I don't know where that came from. But the other part is that anybody's related to anybody because we're so mingled up. Our DNA is so cross-connected in this country is not funny. The crazy part about this is the reason why we can't get anything done, and including Democrats, and I know this is going to sting a lot of butts, is because Democrats are white too. White people are not going to disenchant white people. Even like that's why Merrick Garland couldn't do what he wanted to do because he wanted to follow the law, but he didn't want to be offensive to the other white people. So he didn't do nothing to Trump. But if it had been Obama or one of us or any other black person or person of color, he'd have been tossed him out. They'd been in jail. They'd have been up in the White House to grab Obama and handcuff him, take him up out the White House. But Trump, they don't want to offend other white people and feel like a traitor to their race, so they treat very lightly.
Well, let's just take a step back into what you were saying. That all of Washington has been bought in some sort of fashion. We know that.
Yeah.
But I think that as much as the allegiance that American people tried to do with President Biden, there's a lot of disappointment going on in that camp, y'all. And as all of this keeps continuing to unfold, the question has to come up: what were you doing, President Biden? Because you were behind the scenes. You saw all this all along. You know what I'm saying? Where was your accountability to the American people? Why weren't you not preparing the American people in the fact that you were in the White House before you? Because you knew all this shit the whole time. Okay, you can't tell me you ain't been in Washington for 80 years and didn't know all of this stuff was going on. Why? That's what I'm saying. Why were you keeping silence? Okay, to this. Okay, there's a padding of the pocket. Okay, I'm allegedly saying, I can't say it was sure, but then again, what's the name that came up with the $12 million and she didn't got being in office?
Warren.
Well, Diane Warren. Okay. Not Diane Warren. I'm sorry, Diane Warren. Sorry, Diane. Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren. I mean, we categorically knew that these people were being paid well beyond their $250,000 a year salary to be in office with the best dental and best health care imaginable that they could have, and flying anywhere they want to in and out of the country at any given time. But why is it, again, we're in the fight of our life? This is what the title of the show is. You are in the fight of your life. All right. Did we prepare? Hell no, we didn't prepare. No, we didn't go to the gym. Figuratively speaking and naturally speaking, we didn't go to the gym. We didn't take sparring lessons. We didn't train in the knowledge that will make us powerful. We went to synagogues and institutions and everything else. As I said earlier, I'm not attacking. I'm just telling the truth, but I am attacking in a certain way. But we went to all these institutions thinking about heaven. Okay, but at the end of the day, we still walking through this earth each and every day, getting up, washing your behind, getting in your car, doing everything else, but you were worrying about going to heaven.
But we are a country of distractions.
I know, but go ahead, talk about it.
You don't have to be in nobody's church. You can be at a game. You can be at a concert. True. We need something to always entertain us, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong in doing that. But sometimes you have to live in these times. You have to be in the real world. You have to be present to what's going on, and that's the problem. A lot of Americans don't like to be present in what's going on.
You know why?
We like this thing called amnesia. Because to be honest with you, I always say we are a culture of forgetting. We want to let's just say we rather want to forgive and to forget. And the saddest thing about it is forgetting is the reason why we are in this situation that we're in right now. I can do one for you, Judah Allen. Did you know that Obama is related to Jefferson Davis through his mother's side? And John C. Calhoun, who was the most racist senator and who was pro-slavery. You want to know who is related to him too? Lena Horne. Let's keep that ball rolling.
Okay. But you also got to remember, Obama's related to Bush. And this is what I say: when you blend races, you cross connect. You can't separate you. So you're going to be connected some way, somehow to somebody. But you can't just be like it's just Hitler.
And that was the reason why Hitler kept, even in his mind concept, America got it wrong when they start race mixing with their black counterparts. Go on.
Okay, so you can't. Okay, let's soften that up just a little bit. Let's soften that up just a little bit. Okay, so in the ranks of what you both were saying, the truth behind truth. Okay, let's soften that up a little bit. Now, if we go sit down and genealogically define people's behavior, I think that we really need to hold off on that.
Why not?
Okay, and the reason I say that is that because you're of a blood doesn't mean that you are of that blood. True, and then you do have a mindset of your own. You have a will and a decision of your own. And I don't think it's fair to hold somebody hostage because they did have a descendant of another culture that is not very celebrated right now. At the end of the day. All right. So I don't think it's quite fair, in the gamut of things. Now we can have different opinions about what they've done in office, but we have to be careful in saying that what we think is wrong about someone else's race, regardless of whatever it is, because there was, what was that piece we listened to the other day? That let's not forget about that they. Oh no, I'm sorry. Larry Reed put this out the other day on his show. You can go and watch it if you want to. That we were a part of, or there were lots and lots and lots and lots of white people. Okay, pardon the pun, that were a part of the movement. Okay, and we have to be careful of just saying that black, 111, everybody's racist because they look what they look like. Okay. And sometimes it does and can come across that way in conversation, So we have, and he gave a list of all of the people that were involved in the civil rights movement and all of the other things that were going on during that time frame. So we really have to be astute at how we bring information out to our white counterpart. Now, you know how we love you at the end of the day. Bringing information and bringing identity is one thing, okay, and that should be talked about and should be made aware of. But to make an accusational point about that's a whole nother conversation. And you're holding people hostage that have nothing to do with it. So we have a generation right now that's out there, typically our younger Caucasian generation, the ones that have been brainwashed, but they throw it out there. They don't understand why there is this separation of mind when their friends are black, their friends are Asian, their friends are gay, their friends are, and all of the things that are involved when they accept and love one another for what that person means to them. So maybe there's a playbook that we as the mature crowd need to learn from them and finding a place of harmony that suits everyone.
But you had that with the hippie crowd.
Well, yeah,
and the hippie generation, what happened with that? Why haven't the hippie generation learned from what we are in the dawn of Aquarius,
right?
But you had
we still are, though. I mean, that process hasn't ended,
But these hippies became.
That's another astrological lesson about how it affects humanity. But go ahead.
But these hippies became really the very same generation who now still promotes this separation but equal stuff. I look at it like this. Some people did not learn from what had happened in their own times,
right?
And that's the situation that Jane Fonda even said in at the SAG Awards. Are you prepared to what's going to happen?
Right. And that's my whole point. When I said top of the show, go ahead.
Are you able to want to get up and do some fighting for yourself? Because right now, she is correct. We are living in our documentary right now. The documentary of the social movements of her time period is no need to now go back because now you see now what's going on right now.
Yeah, you do.
And they were telling us then that this would happen again. People had told us through the sheer fact that this is what hatred will bring us. It will bring us tyranny if we do not rein that hatred in. And hey, I hate to say it, because of your hatred for certain types of peoples, certain types of sexuality, certain types of religions, certain type of colors, certain type of genders, you now see that because of this hate, you have Meal on Wheels, you have Medicaid, you have disability, you have Social Security, you have loan forgiveness, you have the Department of Education, you have even your own situation with taxes. You have things that's going to be snatched up overnight. Not only that, but the freedom of the press. Because it's gonna happen, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, that it could happen in this country because of your hatred and your individualism and your wanting to be the only one in the room. This is now what you're going to have to deal with because what them people at those town hall meetings did not understand. I voted for Trump because he said he would lower my grocery prices. I voted for Trump because I do not care for abortion, but I did not know he would take my Medicaid away. I did not know he would take he would upset the situation with my farm grants.
Well, but again, here, like we've been saying, that the whole point is that doing your research, okay?
Do your research.
Considerably paying attention to what's going on.
Yes.
I do want to address Judith's just last comment about President Obama. Some people say foreign, I say president. He's still my president. and that may be true in part. That's something that could be worth looking into. The point that you made about that.
Into it.
You know, we can get back with you on that. But still, at the end of the day, you know, we cannot definitively say that this is how a person is, because we've got people in our own families that do some treacherous shit. Okay, and we wonder where they came from. Okay, and what they were a part of. They may be what is the old saying? Mama's baby, papa's maybe. Okay, there's a lot of papa maybes when you of a certain generation that was going on, and grandparents and other granddaddy was dipping and diving and going to other places that he shouldn't have been going, getting his groove on. Okay, so we got to be careful. I understand about the descendants and all this other type of stuff, but right now, ain't nobody pure. Okay, nobody's pure, and nobody will ever be pure. Okay, I'm just saying we're not the purer. All right, you know, and I don't think that the question or the conversation should be about being pure. It's about how you're going to find a way to exist together. Okay, at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, like we said, together we stand, and together we're strong, and divided we will fall. Okay, now some of us gonna rise, all right, but the masses, if we don't find a way to start getting a cohesive balance between each other and stop looking at based upon what we think somebody is based upon the color of their skin, and that's guilty all straight across the board. Black folk look at black folk looking exactly the same way like you guilty. You know, you wear your hair a certain way, you put a certain type of clothes on, that means you associate with a gang. Okay, you have tattoos over your body, that means you certain with the game. Now I don't understand all this tattooing myself. All right, I don't know why you got to have it here, up here, across your head, under your nose, through your teeth, on your eyes. I don't understand all that. All right, but at the end of the day, you're also being judged by that behavior. Okay, so we're all being judged by something which nobody should be being judged at all. All right, at all, period. And it is not scriptural to be judging anybody.
Even with that information, even with that information that he does have,
right?
Even if it was true, is that going to help us get over the hump?
Right.
Is that going to help us?
That's what I'm saying.
With the situation of higher costs,
right?
You know, the fact is that, you know, we all work jobs that need protections and regulations. You know, I hate to say this, you know, that type of mindset, that type of thinking is never going to get us average Americans over the hump.
Right.
Because we're all going to be struggling because, well, you know, so-and-so is related to such and such. Well, you know, I don't support this thing because of, you know, of their beliefs and whoever and whatever.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I need to pay my bills. And I'm sitting here listening to people with certain agendas that need to be pushed through laws and through everything else, but still can't even afford their rent.
Right.
You hate people, and not hate, you disapprove of certain people, but still you sit at home struggling to buy groceries. Make that make sense.
Right.
I could care less who you're related to, but if it's going to help me afford gas, grocery, rent, bills, car notes, bring down certain forms of medical insurances that are now going to be privatized through this presidency. And I would do all types of research and follow whatever he's saying, Judah, but I want to be able to afford my living.
Right.
But you got people who don't understand that, and they thrive. They thrive in the unfortunate situations of people struggling because it's not, I don't think, and I think, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know the motive behind this, but I do know that there are people that I have come across in real time that don't understand that I'm struggling, and you're so worried about who I'm sleeping with. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care who you worship.
Right.
I just want to be able to pay my bills and have a fair stake in this economy.
Right.
But there are people who play games, and they are playing games, and you see now when you play games, you win dirty prizes. Now you got those who pay.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose a lot.
And you're sure I'm gonna share this quick story of a conversation that I had in 2004, when I was in Greece. Okay, and if you guys don't remember, on the world stage, that Greece was going into an economic change because of the person that got elected chancellor, you know, for them. Okay, And Charles, you probably remember this, quite well. So this is when they were changing the dollar in Europe. They were trying to make the decision to go to the euro dollar versus keeping the dollar that they were. Okay. So the economic situation in Greece was almost identical as to what we're experiencing right now. So my buddy and I, we were in the cab. We were going to cab going somewhere. We were just sharing with the cab driver where we were from. He was telling me that, well, you know what? You Americans are pretty much so nice, but we don't like the president. Like, wow, really? Well, welcome to the club. I told him.
Who at the time was who?
Bush. Okay. So I said, really? He said, yeah, because he said this man has had secret meetings with our chancellor. Okay, and he had said that what they are instituting is a $1 system. Okay, we here in Greece we've been pretty moderately successful. You have like the wealthy, and then you have the moderate middle class, then you have and different ones that have came below certain levels. It's because they were lazy. And I said, wow, so he said they were lazy. But anyway, so what he said was that there's a vote to becoming going to the euro dollar. So what happened? The euro dollar came. It wiped the Greece dollar away. Mm-hmm. So what happened in an instant when they shifted, the Greece dollar was here and it went to here. Mm-hmm. So you had your two levels of poverty. You had your extremely wealthy, and then you had your poverty level. Yeah. The majority of everybody fell to the poverty level. There was no more middle class. Hello, somebody. Okay. The middle class got completely wiped out. But it changed to this $1. So the rest, so what the citizens of Greece did is that, you remember when all the fires were going on in Greece? They started to burn the city up. Okay. As a rebellion against what was going on. America, I'm just saying, your dollar is going to go away. Okay, it's already been talked about as being crypto. Your dollar is going to fade away. Okay, you can market say that your dollar is going to be going euro. Okay, and it will be no more. All right, trust and believe. You can say that you heard it here. Your dollar is going to go away. All right, but you better get away before it goes away. I'm telling you, find a way. Charles, go ahead with the last point. We're going to be done.
Well, I think Big Brother's listening to me, so he can shut my computer down. But the only thing I can say is that if we don't stand up for something, we'll fall for anything. Right. And for too long, we've been sitting around just praying and hoping and doubting what people say, listening to conspiracy theories instead of getting information, covering facts. I think that until we actually stand up, which is why February 28th is the National Economic Blackout. There's some rules to it. Maybe we can find it on the Truth Behind the Truth Authentic page on Facebook. We'll post it up so you can see it. But there's a lot that needs to be digested. And like I said before, the way Trump did what he did was because we tiptoed around. Well, we didn't, but all Caucasian people tiptoed around him. Even the judges were scared to do anything to him. Because they didn't want to feel like they were going against their own race to do anything. So he got away with stuff that nobody else would have got away with. Talked about the court out there on the thing. They told him to watch his mouth. Had to sanction him 4 or 5 times. And he still was doing it.
Still doing it.
They wouldn't hold him accountable. They never hold him accountable because they feel like if they do, they'll be outsiders. And then everybody will go against them. So
well, he prepared that for that particular point to make them feel like outsiders, because any time, and this is something we can talk about next week on the show, but America has been bamboozled by this man for the past 12 years as a rule. Okay, and then further, and we did mention this on a previous show. So all you heard was about him, whatever this was, whether it was him raping women or grabbing women by the things that he shouldn't have been touching about. All of these things kept that man in front of you guys, and you guys didn't pay attention to what the programming did to you. Okay, they programmed you into being a Trump-licker and a Meganite.
But the saddest thing about this situation is this wasteful spending they keep bringing up through this audit. You know what? When COVID was going strong, we were living in Atlanta. I was working at a store. I can remember people coming in, able-bodied people who could actually get a job during that time period, coming in with food stamps. This was during Trump's presidency. People who scammed the PPE loans. That was going on through Trump's presidency. The fact that people stayed at home because they knew they didn't have to work, while some of us who were working, I kept saying during that time period, why are they giving these people money who don't have jobs? You should give money, the COVID, what would they call them? The COVID relief funds to those public sector working people who were fixing your food in your stores. See, this is where Democrats are losing me. Because they knew this stuff was going on during COVID, and they did, and during this man's presidency, and they don't ever bring stuff like this up. They have dropped the ball when it boils down to connecting the dots. The dots is you can audit whatever you want to audit, but you cannot deny that during your first term as president, during a pandemic, you gave tons and tons of money to people who actually didn't need it because they knew they didn't have to get up and go to work at all. They didn't have to walk to work, or they didn't have to get out there. They utilized and scammed, and you gave. So at the end of the day, what's the point? Truth behind the truth. Hey, this is where we need to start waking up to the facts that, hey, somebody's lying. And I believe that this ain't all about no wasteful spending. Somebody's sapping money because they can.
But,
I'm not going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there.
Go ahead real quick, Charles. Did you want to make a quick point?
No, I was just going to say that there's no accountability. There's no oversight. And they have no receipts for what they claim is fraud. No receipts at all. None. They're trying to make up some now. Why? That's why I keep saying, hold on, we'll get it. No, if you found fraud, you can show us right there. Put it right there on the screen, show it to us. But Elon got $400 million for his project. Apparently, we're not losing that much money. That you can give him.
23 people have lost their jobs, and have fired themselves out of the Doge program. There are people who quit the Doge program. I think it was 23 people who quit the Doge program today. See, they're not talking about that, but we're getting that on social media. Why?
Well,
why? But hey,
to be continued.
To be continued.
Okay, to be continued. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Thank you for all of your comments. We appreciate them. And you can still continue to send them because we'll check it out and see them and bring it to light next week. We do want to remind you to like, and share. Okay, like, and share. This is our new time for a while. We're going to be 6 o'clock on Tuesday evenings. Rebroadcasting will be still done on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Okay, for you as well, all right, and support by your contributions. Okay, if you want to know how to give to us, send us an email to ttbttshow@gmail. Okay, I don't have time to put it up right now because we run out of time. Unless you can grab it, Charles. I don't think you can while I'm running my mouth. But you can support us through Cash App. All right, that is our Cash App is ttbttshow. All right, write the Cash App. Send any amount of money you want to. All right. Anything above 20. All right. And also on our Venmo account. All right. You can donate to us on Venmo. The Truth Behind the Truth. All right. We need your support. We've been doing this for a long time, and we're going to keep on doing it.
We're going to keep on doing it.
Keep on doing it because we believe in you.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Even those who don't follow or don't support what we talk about. Hey,
we still believe in you, and we still love you because guess what? We're all of one blood.
Amen.
All right. Y'all have a powerful night, powerful rest of the week, and we will see you Tuesday night. All right. Right here live, 6 p.m. on what? The Truth Behind the Truth. I'm gonna leave you guys real quick for our conclusion of our Black Excellence Month. And I'm gonna go out with Stormy Weather again to bring you back up. Maybe you came down a little bit by the truth, but we're gonna lift you back up as we go out. All right. Have a wonderful night. We will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.